Hello, I'm Kim Krauser of Interlude MindBody Fitness, and Jillian and I today are going to give you a little introduction to the beginnings of practicing at home the concept of breath optimization. So Jillian's in a nice, comfortable seated position. You could also do this standing, and we're going to use one of these Flexbands. So it's a moderate tension band, and you can see it's quite wide. So Jillian, just start by putting the band around your ribs. And you can see how Jillian's trying to keep the band wide so it's not bunched up. The wider it is, the more feedback, the more stimulation she's going to get, the more support. And she's just going to tie it to start. This is step one, super simple. Tie the band just tight enough that you can sense the band hugging your low ribs. And once you get it tied, you can rest your hands. Jillian's got her hands nicely resting on her thighs. You can put them beside you, and she's sitting in optimum alignment, nice straight posture, but without any tension. And now I'm just going to get you, Jillian, to take some nice full breaths. You can breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, or just breathe in and out through the nose. And what Jillian's going to be thinking about as she's breathing is trying to stretch the band on the inhalation. So as she's breathing in, she wants to sense, and you want to sense the band hugging your body, tightening a little bit. As you breathe out, you want to sense that the band is slackening as your rib cage narrows. So the act of breathing is a three-dimensional act through the rib cage, because when you inhale, your lungs expand and the diaphragm descends. The rib cage should get out of the way in order for the diaphragm to do its thing. So using that band around your rib cage is going to really help you get that feeling of a three-dimensional expansion on the inhale and a three-dimensional narrowing. And what I'd advise for you to do at home is to have yourself seated or standing facing a mirror. So what you want to observe as you're doing that, and Jillian, maybe you'll show a little bit of an exaggeration of that secondary tensing. So if Jillian's not mindful, she might end up breathing in and tensing her neck and shoulders. This is a habit we can sometimes get into. So by watching yourself in the mirror just for the next little while, you can observe, where is it that I'm carrying that expansion in my inhalation, making sure that you're not recruiting those secondary muscles, those fight or flight muscles, just to get a breath in. So if you do notice that tendency, then you can stay with it, continue watching yourself in the mirror, and see if you can channel that breath a little deeper, and the Flexband is your target. Now, if you wanted to take it a little step forward and start to wake up some of the posture muscles that support the shoulder, Jillian, you can go ahead and untie the band. But Jillian's going to cross it. So the band is crisscrossed in front of her, no longer tied. And then turn your palms up. So you're laying the bands in your hands with your palms up. And now she's creating that same little hug that we did earlier, but this time she is facilitating a bit of a stretch using the posture muscles of her shoulders. So her elbows are by your side. You could even have your elbows a tiny bit ahead of you, and you want a tiny gap between your elbows and your body. And then as Jillian breathes and stretches the band, the stretching of the band pulls her hands in, pulls the two ends of the bands together. As she breathes out and narrows the band, it gives her that extra slack so she can pull gently on the band. This is not an intense arm exercise. If you're feeling a lot of fatigue in the shoulders, you're making the action of the arms a little too great. We still want to drive this movement from the breath. She's inhaling here and exhaling to narrow the ribs, get a little slack in the band to open it up. Let's do two more. Easy breath in and exhale. Watching in the mirror again, watching yourself as you perform these, making sure you're not tensing through neck and shoulders, just to simply take an inhale and exhale. Feel the ribs narrow. This also helps you connect to your abdominals. Excellent. So 7 to 12 breath cycles is all you need for either one of these exercises. The last one I want to do is going to reinforce this idea of trying to turn off some of those accessory muscles. So Jillian, I'm going to get you to spin around. So Jillian's going to face back to you just for the first few. So Jillian's back is to you, so you can see where the Flexband goes. She's going to turn around in a moment so you can see how she's holding the band. But she's got the band anchored under one side of her pelvis. So one sit bone, one butt cheek is holding the band in place. And again, she's got some stretch in the band, but it's not excessive. It's just enough now that she can feel the pressure of the band wrapped over her shoulder. This is called suspenders. So it's like you've got an elastic suspender coming around and over your shoulder. So this is a great exercise to work on breaking those habits of tensing and using secondary respiratory muscles to accomplish a nice, full, deep inhalation. So Jillian's just taking breaths, and her goal is to try not to stretch the band as she inhales, to try not to pull her shoulders up, and the band really helps her get that feedback. Now, before you do the other side, you want to make sure, you can just take the band away, that you take a moment. Take a moment when you do one side and compare, before you do the other side, both the breathing and how you experience breath on one side compared to the other. You may notice a difference. You also might notice through the shoulders, if you're looking at yourself in the mirror, that the side that you had the band on, the side that you applied your attention to, it feels different, even looks a little bit different, might look a little bit lower. You can see in Jillian's case, it's a little bit lower on that right side. Thanks so much for watching. Those are our 2 breathing exercises using the Flexband.